What is up, YouTube? That's here, bringing you guys another set of Pokemon Showdown games that I played throughout the last week. You can see my team on the bottom is going to be Mega Gardevoir, Assault Vest Landorus, Focus Sash Breloom, Weakness Policy Aegislash, Mega Sableye, and Leftover Subheatran. This team is the team that I won the Premier Challenge with last week in San Bruno. I'm really liking the way it plays. It has a little bit of a weakness to Rain team, so that's why I'm picking this battle for today's first battle. And if I can get through this Rain weakness that I somehow made a team that is extremely weak to Rain, if I can get over this, I think this team will be a great team for regionals. So without further ado, we're just going to start this up, get right into it. So we see that I'm leading off with Sableye. I think Sableye is the best lead in the game, and I'm pairing with Gardevoir. And you may wonder why I lead this when it's a very predictable Politoed Ludicolo start, but I just don't really have any other option. Looking at the team, I have two Pokemon that are severely weak to Rain. I can't really bring Breloom to fight against Ludicolo that well, so I kind of have to go with this and hope that I get a Confuse Hex somewhere. Starting off turn 1, I'm going to just try and protect and trade Fake Outs and try and get just a little bit of a better deal right off the bat. I fake out the Politoed, we don't see lefties, we don't see eject button, so I'm kind of assume that it's Scarfed or Spexed at this point. We go for the Confuse Ray on the Ludicolo, and I think I don't get the Confuse that turn. He gets a pretty big Scald up on Sableye. It's not that big a deal, and Politoed is going to be Scarfed. That's the only way it is faster than my timid full speed Mega Gardevoir. I critical hit the Politoed with the Hyper Voice and chunk the Politoed as well. So pretty good first couple turns for me. I've gotten a little bit lucky. I'm going to protect with Gardevoir, recover with Sableye, try and make so Ludicolo hits himself, and that's exactly what happens. And we're just waiting for Politoed and a little bit more of the rain to run out. So he goes for the correct call, he goes for the Hydro Pump on my Sableye. I'm just going to be stuck recovering, there's nothing else to really do at this point. Ludicolo is going to hit himself in confusion, and Politoed's going to go for another Hydro Pump onto my Sableye. So the Scarf Politoed putting in a lot of work with those Hydro Pumps, hit 3 in a row. But it's not gonna win him the game. He targeted the wrong Pokemon with Politoed, and looks like he's gonna lose both his Pokemon to a Hyper Voice from Mega Gardevoir. This is usually how my games versus Rain end up, but you saw I had to get extremely lucky for that to happen, and I just don't really know if I have a better lead I mean, maybe I could use Aegislash, I don't really know yet. It's something I have to work on, but let's get back to the game. We see Kangaskhan and Talonflame come out. I send my Landorus out to fight that. I don't really know why I brought Landorus. I mean, I know it's because he has Talonflame and Kang, but bringing Landorus to fight the Rain team is never really a great idea. Luckily for me, I get a double Intimidate, and he definitely calls me this turn. I didn't protect with Gardevoir, and I go for the Hyper Voice. He really thought that I was going to protect, and Landorus took a big chunk for it, but because of the Intimidate, it's going to live for free, and both his Pokemon are so low now that I can pretty much trade cost inefficiently and still come out winning this game. I'm going to switch Gardevoir back. I'll go down to a Sucker Punch or a Brave Bird. Decided to go in with Aegislash here. I really like Aegislash in this matchup, especially against Pokemon like Talonflame and Kangaskhan. So we're going to see Landorus eat a Brave Bird, go down, and there's no way Kang really has anything to really check Aegislash at this point. And I want to get back to this. Like, I was extremely ahead, and now he has both these Pokemon. These two Pokemon definitely have a power play against mine if he were to crit my Aegislash with a Flare Blitz. I don't want to let that happen. I go for the King Shield, drastically lower his physical attack stat, and no matter what the Talonflame would have done that turn, if it would have attacked my Gardevoir, I still think I would have been okay, because he would have lost all of his HP thanks to his Life Orb, and it would have been Kangaskhan versus Aegislash. That's why I went for the King Shield play. I really had nothing to lose in going for it, and at this point his Kang really can't do that much to hit me. We're actually going to see Crunch on his Kangaskhan, which is I think it's actually the better set, because it lets you do like straight up damage against Aegislash where normally you wouldn't be able to do any. And it's not going to really be enough. He's intimidated. I think he crit one of his attacks, but it doesn't really matter. Kangaskhan is going to go down, and Aegislash is going to stand victorious, getting me the game. So I just wanted to say that, like, this is my worst matchup. Kang teams mixed with Rain teams, and like a priority Talonflame user, and also this guy had a Sableye of his own. Like, this is probably one of the worst matchups I can get, and you saw just how lucky I had to get to even have a chance at winning the game. So I just need to really work on this Rain matchup. If you guys have any ideas for what I can do to change my team to be better suited to fight in the Rain, please leave a comment below, because I'm searching for ideas left and right. We're going to go into the next game, though. Start this next game up. It's going to be against Fire Gem Erupt. He has Kang, Cresselia, Sylveon, Heatran, Breloom, and Suicune. Like I said, Kangaskhan is one of my worst matchups. I always personally just have a bad matchup against that Pokemon. You see, I have 2 Ghost Pokemon and like a Breloom and a Landorus to put a stop to it. So we're just going to get right into this and start this game off. I'm leading off with Breloom, and I want to say I would lead Sableye. Yeah, Sableye Breloom. This is my favorite lead. This is what the team is made to do. You have Fake Out Spore Pressure or like, you know, Bullet Seed, Will-O-Wisp Pressure. Bunch of just really hyper aggression from the start of the game. So we're going to see him go Kangaskhan Sylveon. He's immediately going to swap out into for Cresselia. He doesn't want to eat a Spore on that slot, and that's completely fine with me. So I'm also going to switch out because I'm doing something a little bit different this turn, and I wanted to be able to check the Sylveon as soon as I could put it to sleep. So we're going to protect with Breloom. That's completely standard. I don't really want to eat a Fake Out for free. He goes Mega King and decides to protect himself. So that kind of makes me believe he might not have Fake Out later in the game. I know I run Protect Fake Out on my King, but that isn't very standard. So just a little bit of information for later in the game. We see him start off turn 2 by switching his Kangaskhan out. Another thing to note is that since his King had Protect, that makes me think that it's of a slower variety. So that's why I went for the Spore on that slot. I was pretty sure I would just be faster. We also see my Aegislash go for a Shadow Ball on Cresselia and actually get a special D-Drop. So what this is going to let me do is go for another Shadow Ball, and he's going to get a trade KO off onto my Breloom. That's completely fine, because I will trade my Breloom for a Cresselia KO any day. I also got like a free Mach Punch off onto that Heatran, chunking it for a little over half. Note that we don't see its item yet, so like, that's kind of weird. Normally we would have seen Chople Berry or Leftovers at this point. I'm kind of wondering what... Oh, there's the Leftovers, alright. I'm just completely stupid. So we see the Leftovers. Pretty standard item on Heatran, nothing to worry about there. So Sylveon's going to come back out. Landorus is coming out. I thought he was definitely going to be bringing out Kang, but Landorus will for sure get the job done in this situation. Heatran is still going to be asleep. Kind of unfortunate for him. I'm going to pop a Wide Guard, and this is actually a very cool turn, something you don't see very often. I'm going to go for an Earthquake. Obviously, my Aegislash is protected. I'm going to KO the Heatran, chunk the Sylveon, and I was expecting a Hyper Voice from Sylveon, but instead, we're going to see a Hyper Beam hit my Landorus. He's also Life Orbed, and he's like... So, Rookie Slayer MLG's in the chat. There's a few people in the chat, and no one can believe that this lived, and that's the power of full HP Assault Landorus. This was pretty much game over, because this Sylveon is just completely out of commission. I can switch out. The obvious Sucker Punch is coming in from Kang, go into my Sableye, and there's nothing my opponent can really do here, but I do not want to let my opponent have a chance to recharge. I go for a Flash Cannon, it's going to finish that off, and it's Kangaskhan versus the world here. I have a full HP Sableye, full HP Aegislash, and a... Well, my Landorus is extremely low, but yeah, I could switch it in and get a couple Intimidates off, so pretty good game. Hyper Voice Life Hyper Beam Life Orbed from a Pixelate Sylveon, not taking out my Landorus. That's the full Special Wall Landorus that I love using, so pretty good stuff there. It's just not something you see very often, and the chat was just going crazy when it happened, so we're going to go on to the next game. If you guys liked that game, feel free to leave any comments about it. I always like reading those. And the last game of the day, this is with a completely different team. This is going to be a Choice Band, I'm on the opposite side. I'm using the same team. I thought I was using my Choice Band Metagross team, but no. Every once in a while when you play on Showdown, it switches the sides that you, when you watch the replays, it switches the sides that your team is on. So I'm going to be the opposing team this time. That's what my team looks like if you're the challenger. I'm going to be leading off against Metagross, Hydreigon, Landorus, Thundurus, Ludicolo, and Terrakion. So we're just going to get right into this. I don't remember that much about this game, but I'm going to do my best. I know it was a pretty good one. This isn't a funny game. This is actually a really, really good game. A great game showing off everything my team can really do. So we see Metagross Thundurus leading off against Gardevoir Sableye. This is a lead I do when my opponent doesn't have that big of a turn 1 pressure. He only really has Ludicolo, so I can get away with doing this even into a Pokemon like Metagross. We're going to see both of our Megas activate. I go for the Fake Out. He actually didn't protect, and that's great for me. We also see that he swaggers my Sableye. Note that he doesn't taunt, he swaggers. And I'll definitely take that. We go for a Hyper Voice, chunks Thundurus, activates the Citrus Berry, and chunked Metagross for about 20% too. So pretty good turn 1. I'm kind of forced to play defensive for a little while now, but he has like no KO pressure on this turn. I switch in with my Aegislash here, and I switch my Sableye. I just don't want to get like hit in confusion and literally die because I was at +2. So we're going to go into Landorus, get Intimidate on Metagross. Remember, he doesn't have Clear Body once he Mega Evolves. That's why I just don't really like Mega Evolving turn 1 with Metagross. I just really don't like it. We're going to see him Thunderbolt my Aegis Slash, gets a crit, which is quite unfortunate for me, but it's just going to be something I have to live with. We're now going to see Metagross switch out, but remember, he is at -1. He goes in for Hydreigon here, expecting me to Earthquake, and he's going to go for a HP Ice on my Landers. Remember, I am Assault Vested, so I'm completely safe. I go for the Rock Slide on the switch, and I miss the Thundurus, which is the worst thing ever, and Aegis Slash's Shadow Ball is not doing very much to Hydreigon. But we've seen most of his team. We've seen the Metagross, Hydreigon, Thundurus. We've already used the Thundurus' item. I still feel pretty confident going back into Sableye here. Aegis Slash is going to start off turn 4 by going for a King Shield. He could Swagger. Remember, Thunder Wave and Swagger are moves that go through King Shield, but I wasn't that worried. We just saw him go for the predictable Hidden Power and then the Stab Dark Pulse from the Hydreigon. So remember, we're going to start things off kind of like turn 1. I'm going to go for a Fake Out on the Hydreigon because I'm pretty sure it's choiced. He goes for another Swagger on Sableye. It's pretty much a rinse and repeat of the way turn 1 went, but with completely different Pokemon. So Sableye's going to go into that stance change, going to get the Flash Cannon, almost take out the Hydreigon here. And I was really surprised when he went for the Protect, because I was sure that he was choice. So kind of sucks to see that here. Aegis Slash is going to go for the King Shield. I thought he was just going to go for the standard Dark Pulse, but looks like he went for Protect instead, and I was completely caught off guard by that, and we're going to see my Sableye eat a Thunderbolt for it. So, not the best turn from me, but luckily I snap out of Confusion here, and I decide to go for a little bit of a crazy play here. I go for Confuse Ray instead of the Will-O-Wisp to knock out the Hydreigon. I'm risking losing my Aegis Slash to a Dark Pulse here, but it's a risk that I'll take, because he goes for the Draco on the Sableye instead, and he actually goes down to the Life Orb, so I'll definitely take that trade. Sableye was quite useless at this point anyways, and we're also going to see my Aegis Slash. Remember, I didn't use any like King Shield or anything weird. I just went for a standard Shadow Ball on Thundurus, and for both down one Pokemon, he sends his Metagross out, but you know, it's definitely time for my Landers to come back out, flare up a second Intimidate this game onto that Metagross. So pretty good come in for me. There's not really that much he can do in this situation. My Aegis Slash is going to King Shield. This is probably the most King Shields you're ever going to see me use. I rarely ever King Shield, but he's going to fall for it. He's going to Zen Headbutt right into that King Shield. He probably thought I was going to Wide Guard or something. HP Ice will not take out the Landers. I'm much too bulky with my Assault Vest. And Rock Slide, remember, I'm going for Rock Slide instead of Earthquake here. Metagross isn't that big of a problem. He's at like -3 right now. And he can't switch out because he only has 2 Pokemon left. He sends his own Landorus out here. And pretty much gets... My Landorus is pretty much cooked. My Aegis Slash is going to go for a Wide Guard. But there's no real way my opponent can like steamroll back and win this game. He's going to go for a Rock Slide. It's going to get blocked by the Wide Guard, and we're going to see his Metagross move faster than me because I am Assault Vested and pick up the KO on my Landorus. Now it's time for the heavy hitter to come back out. It's going to be Gardevoir coming, and this turn, well, you'll see how it's going to go. Gardevoir is going to Protect. Pretty predictable, I would say. This is obviously the best play I can really do here. He's going to go for the Rock Slide. Luckily for me, it doesn't flinch my Aegis Slash. I know I'm giving some spoilers, but we're going to see Iron Head go into my Protect, not do that much, and we're going to see his Metagross eat a super effective Shadow Ball and then go down. And from here, you guys can pretty much see how this game is going to play out. He has a Landorus, I have an Aegis Slash with Wide Guard. He's going to forfeit, and it's going to lead to my victory. So I felt I played very well this game. I used all the moves in my Aegis Slash's arsenal, and I used my Landorus to intimidate his Metagross every single time his Metagross came out to be able to exert its pressure. I mean, I definitely kept momentum on my side this game, and anytime my opponent tried to build up momentum through switching, through using unconventional targets, I was always there with correct switches, and, you know, even though I was using, for the most part, slower Pokemon, all of my Pokemon were slower than my opponents all game, I was... Through the use of my Sableye and Fake Out, and through the use of my Wide Guard usage and switching in with correct switches, I was able to keep things going in my direction. So thank you guys for watching this game. As always, if you like the battle, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.